Evening, everybody. Welcome to the United Stand. Welcome to your Tuesday night fan forum. Something a bit different today. I am back. Beth is back also. Thanks, everybody, for tuning into them videos earlier on today. Myself talking Championship Manager and trying to work out how United make these transfers happen this season on a budget. And Beth was with Rob Dawson earlier on. If you haven't watched them videos, drop down onto the channel page and click on them. They are brilliant videos, if I do say so myself. But well done, Beth. Great interview with Rob Dawson before. Got some great insights, which we are going to talk about tonight as well. Rest of your day been good, Beth? You okay?
Yeah, just been chilling in between shows and excited to get into some stuff with you all tonight.
Good. And joining us, the other stronghold of the team, Mr. DJ Extraordinaire in the top right-hand corner. Jordan, what's happening, mate? Good day for you so far?
All good, live from Marbella. Slightly confused again that it's not a Thursday. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, he's got his days right. It wasn't that much of a session last night, so he's okay. Coffee in hand, let's go. And the man himself, Mr. 70s, 80s, probably, Sprite. Yeah. That's the one, Kev, loving that. The only man who can make a green screen work wearing a green shirt. Credit to you, mate. How you
done that?
Work that one out. I should just be a floating head, really, shouldn't I? But
you should have that little lemon of the Sprite and then just your head. But all good, mate.
Yes. Well, obviously, Man City have been shopping in Waitrose today, haven't they? Got themselves a Haaland whilst we're in Aldi, looking through that, that middle bargain aisle. I'm sure we'll grab ourselves a few in the summer, hopefully. But apart from that, I'm very good. Thank you.
That's it. We've got plenty to talk about tonight. Obviously, leading on from what me and Beth were talking about earlier on today, Ten Hag's new training regime, where he's not happy and where he thinks this team has gone wrong and where the players have gone wrong this season as the main culprit. Fitness, I think we can all agree on that. Obviously, we're going to talk about the key positions being reported. We know what they are. Let's see if the rumours are exactly that as well. And obviously, guys, get your comments in on all the subjects and everything that me, Jordan, Kev and Beth are talking about tonight. Well, let's kick it off. Jordan, a lot's happened. Haaland's come out. United completely blown out the water simply because we didn't have the ambition. City making waves, already strengthening. Ten Hag's come out and said he believes, and I think Ralph's got a bit of this as well. A bit to do with this as well. The fitness, United are going to need an extra 2 weeks of training simply just to get in shape for how he wants to play football. I mean, we could see that coming a mile off. And we knew he was going to get these players into shape. He's going to have to get them into shape, Jordan. But that's probably music to a lot of fans' ears, that, isn't it? It's no holds barred. Get these players in line. And if they can't handle it, out you go.
Yeah, I think that the harder thing just to address that, like, the early one, someone else said to me earlier, or, they've blown us out the water, but they're in an Olympic-sized pool and we're chilling in a lazy spot. Like, we're not close to them, so we shouldn't turn in ourselves with trying to get the cherry on the bun when we've got McTominay and Fred in the middle of our midfield and Harry Maguire at the back and, Tellez and Delo and so on and so forth. We can't look at signings like Haaland. It's a great position to be in where you can look and just get your glory signing, one signing each summer, but we're miles off of that. So I'm not looking at it with any kind of resentment. I think by the time we get ourselves into position where we're actually challenging for the title, Haaland will be at Real Madrid anyway. So it's not really a concern for me. The news of the preseason, I think, is great. Something I said before is that, we need 10 signings or 10 new players. 3 or 4 of those are going to have to come from the squad that's already there, raising their game from 4s and 5s to 7 and 8s out of 10. The way they're going to do that is to implement Ten Hag's ideas and also improve their fitness, because we're absolutely flagging. And the mad thing about that is, I don't know if you guys remember, when Oli came in, the one thing he said he was shocked at was the standard of fitness of the squad that he inherited from Mourinho, and they just weren't fit. And, we drilled them. And I remember when we came back from the first lockdown, when we went on that crazy run, we came back fitter than everyone else. What happened after that? Like, did everybody just get comfortable, put their UGG slippers on and just think, F it, we've made it? Because like the fitness levels have completely dropped. And that is exactly what's going to be needed this summer, is a complete shake-up, a new manager coming in, somebody that they feel the need to try and impress. And, they want to come back early. I remember like things like, Ronaldo taking a fitness coach with him on holiday, and you'd see footage of him on the beach doing one-to-one sessions because he wanted to come back fit. And if there's a player that needs that, I'd say 100% that's Marcus Rashford and Luke Shaw. 100%. They need those extra couple of weeks to come back next season, hit the ground running, and put this season down as a bad memory, and try and grab hold of another opportunity to make it successful at United.
Yeah, Kev. Apparently, Ten Hag has been watching the games from afar and hasn't been impressed with the fitness levels within the game, i.e. the way the United have dropped off, unable to maintain a certain standard football. I mean, he will know how Ralf Rangnick works. Anyone who knows football, managerial-wise, coaching-wise, knows the methods of Ralf Rangnick and how this hasn't helped. It hasn't worked under United. People are obviously going to watch and try and figure out exactly why it's not worked for Ralf here. Some will say, obviously, he's not quite got that quality in terms of managing a big club, but we do know that his teams play a certain style and fitness levels are at a certain level. So it's probably easy when Ralph's watching these games to actually notice that, fitness levels on these players are just not acceptable for elite level sport, especially at the hardest league and toughest league in European football, probably world football, in the Premier League. United miles off it. We can all see it from afar. Ten Hag's picking up on it is now as well, mate.
You have to look back really to the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer regime at Manchester United, and I think a lot is coming to it's kind of standing out now as to where Manchester United are, and one of them is certainly fitness with these players. I think, have you just mentioned kind of 2 weeks there to get them up to speed? I'm looking and thinking more like, I was going to say 2 years. You think that a lot of these players are well behind, man. In comparison to teams that play a pressing style of football, which is exactly what Ten Hag's going to want to bring to Manchester United. Now, Rangnick was supposedly the man that invented this kind of football and, has taught the best in the game. He Tuchel's, Klopp's and all that. He hasn't been able to impose that at Manchester United, and it's clear for one reason. These players are not fit enough. They're not physically fit enough. And it's a thing we've spoke about as well before. It's a mentality issue. Too many players have spat the dummy out. They're not even interested to learn because deep down they know that Rangnick will not be there in the summer. It's a sad thing to see, but fitness-wise, I agree 100%. These players need... It's a massive pre-season. I think that's the key reason why I'm looking forward to going to this game tomorrow at Old Trafford, to get a glimpse of the future. And it's a big summer because a lot of these players that are playing tomorrow could really put themselves in the window. And you mentioned that Ten Hag rightly would have been watching Manchester United over the last couple of weeks. Probably a bit of a worry because at the same time I'm thinking, Jesus, if he's seen some of them performance, he might just be looking and not dotting the I's and crossing the T's, on that contract or whatever. But he's done, he's coming, I'm glad. And yeah, tomorrow, a big shout for some of them young kids to go, do you know what? I'm ready to step up. And I'll give you 110%, something that a lot of these so-called first-team players have not given you this season.
Yeah, exactly that. And just on that, Kev just mentioned it there, everybody. Me, Beth and Kev will be at the game tomorrow. If you want to come and say hello before or after the game, come and see us outside at the East Stand there. We'll have a chat, talk football, and see if you can actually convince me that any of these players in this squad are actually worth keeping at all, because I'm not impressed one bit. Beth, going back to the fitness, you spoke to Rob Dawson earlier on today. That 2 weeks of training isn't going to come in a normal pre-season. Normally, 4th of July, United reportedly back at Carrington for pre-season training. It's now reported that, unfortunately, we may have to cut these players' holidays 2 weeks short, Beth, just to get them up to where Ralph wants to be. Don't feel sorry for him much, do you?
No, not at all. I think it's the perfect way for him to come in and tell these players, I'm the boss now and you listen to me and this is what I want to do. I think when you come in as a new manager, you've got to get respect from the squad. And obviously the squad should respect him anyway, but knowing what's happened with previous managers and players throwing managers under the bus. I think the first thing that Ten Hag needs to do is make an impression that he is the boss. He is now making all of the decisions, and the best way that these players have a chance at the club and have a chance with their careers is to listen to him. And that's and I think bringing them back 2 weeks early is a good way to start that off, because you think about it, you're going into the pre-season, new manager who they're not too sure what to expect. Initially, someone asking for you back 2 weeks early, you're thinking, oh, this is serious now. This guy actually really wants to get down to business and wants to do stuff. And I think it's exactly what the players need. I agree with him with him saying that he doesn't think the players are fit enough. I think that was obvious as soon as Ralph Rangnick came in and we played that first Crystal Palace game. Players seemed absolutely knackered after 20 minutes of playing football, the way that he was trying to do it, and we've not seen it since. I mean, even that wasn't his full style. It was like half pressing, and since then we've not even seen anything really. So I think the players aren't fit enough, so that does need to be addressed. So it's nice to see that's happening. And I also think he needs a longer time to look at which players really have got the attitude and the commitment to go into pre-season and be a part of his squad and be a part of his plans, because as soon as he gets in there for that fitness training camp, yeah, all the players at first are going to be up for it and acting like they're committed, but with players that aren't actually as committed as others, that'll only last so long. So I think it'll be good for him to get an even earlier look at some of the attitudes of the players. So I think it's a very good strategy that he is going to put in place.
Poor fitness and lack of conditioning, Jordan, is what's reported Ralph Rangnick has put down to United's demise this season. He's planning Zoom calls with the players as soon as the Eredivisie completes and he picks up that trophy for the third time. I think it is. I'm correct on that. Conditioning. This comes down to a coaching setup as well, Jordan, not just the players. So we can't fully say, look, these players aren't fit. Why aren't they fit? They're doing what they're told, are they not? And this is going to be a big part of what happens this summer. Beth was talking to Rob Dawson earlier on about Ten Hag bringing in his own backroom staff and everything like that. That is going to be that fitness side of thing as well, because the system doesn't work unless these guys are fit enough.
100%. He needs to bring his own team in and that understand his philosophy and know what's expected of him. I also think he needs to bring his own players in, something I said before about the whole Ajax thing, about signing one or two players that know his system and can be his lieutenants on the pitch, players that have played for him before and know what it takes. And also players that set an example in training, pre-season and so on and so forth. And I think Beth has hit the nail on the head there. It's the perfect way to gauge who's willing to apply themselves to the new project is by asking players to come back 2 weeks early. Off-season to players is so precious, so limited time. Holidays are planned, trips away are planned, trips with the boys, trips with their partners, and so on and so forth. If they're being asked to sacrifice 2 weeks of that, you then see who really is committed to this project. After the season that we've just had, everybody should be willing to come in 2 weeks early and apply themselves and hit next season running, because they should be embarrassed by what they've delivered this season. And anybody that isn't willing to do that, for me, should just automatically be shown the door.
Absolutely.
Yeah, on Darren Mulaney's super chat there, Beth, you spoke to Rob Dawson about this exact subject before. Would you like to just let Darren know what was said and what's actually going to happen and where we're at with that?
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, Ten Hag wants to bring in his assistant from Ajax. He wants to bring in Mitchell van der Gaag. That's how you say it. And also there was talks of him possibly bringing in someone else, such as McLaren or Van Persie, people that know the Premier League. Van Persie can't get his work permit, so that's obviously hard for Manchester United to do. But the Mitchell van der Gaag thing is definitely something that they want to pursue. But obviously his contract with Ajax, they've got to try and sort that out. And with Ten Hag, they're going to know more about it, and I think you'll see more things be announced when he actually finishes the season with Ajax, because straight away he's going to be in meetings with Manchester United, sorting out his backroom staff and sorting out transfers. So we'll know more about it then, but looking at the backroom staff, when I was speaking to him, he said that it's probably going to be a mix of who's there now. Manchester United are going to ask him to come in and assess who's there now and ask him to try and make use of the staff that's there, but also they're going to allow him to bring in a couple of people for himself as well. So, do you know what the main issue is you really do need to get the coaching staff right, because like he said, Rangnick wasn't allowed the coaching staff he wanted in. They they just didn't go out and get them. He had to go with second, third choices. And you've seen that this season it's not gone to plan. I'm not just blaming the fact that his coaching and staff, but it's really important to share a vision. Like, it's not a one-man band. You need a team there. Like, Pep's got all the coaching staff he wants. Klopp's got all the coaching staff he wants. You need a team there to help build this project. So I just really hope Manchester United actually what they often do is, like, they don't build the cake, they just put the cherry on top. You need to build the whole cake, and I hope they allow him to do that and bring his coaching staff in, because I think that's a massive part of how he succeeds at United, because he can't do it all on his own.
No, that's it. You need to actually get the right ingredients and get the right mix before you start putting the icing on the top, Kev. That comes in with the transfers. Like Jordan said, he needs his own men. He needs his own coaching staff. He needs his own team above him. I mean, Beth talks about Pep Guardiola bringing everyone in there with him, but he also brought the men above, the directors, the sporting directors, the people who get him the players that he needs. That's something I cannot personally see, Kev, but Rangnick is that sort of shining hope. I mean, I was talking this morning about possible players coming in, and Rangnick being that key to that for Ten Hag, because them Zoom calls aren't just going to be with the players, Kev. They're going to be with Mr. Rangnick as well, and he's not going to hold anything back. If going off what press conferences and how upset he's making players right now to the whole wide world, then he's not going to hold anything back when it comes to speaking to Ten Hag either. And I think it's going to be abundantly clear very early. And the fact that 2-week early start in pre-season for us, it's going to give him the opportunity to sort of get a head start in terms of weaning out the crap that is in this squad right now and the ones that really don't want to put the work rate in and don't want to be there.
That's why it's always baffled me with this set of players, that you get the impression that they're just thinking, oh, it's all right, this guy won't be here come the summer. He's gone. You know, I know he's an interim manager, but there's more to this role. He's going to be working in a consultancy role, and he's obviously going to be working very closely with Ten Hag. I mean, Rangnick is in the perfect position now. He's offloading, isn't he? You can tell by his press conferences, everything he's saying, every one of these press conferences is starting to get more brutal and more brutal. And as fans, This is exactly what we want, because we want to know what is going on behind the scenes. I said it the other day, Mourinho coming out again with this comment and saying people laughed when he said that finishing second with his team was one of the biggest achievements in his managerial career. We laughed at the time, but the comment after it, when he says, you don't realise what's happening behind the scenes. And a lot of people, that want the Glazers out, they want the restructure and everything. That is what Mourinho is getting at for me. And I think Rangnick now is starting to dig his heels in. He's frustrated. He wanted players in January, wasn't backed, was clearly told, you're not signing a player. You know, we don't know if the next manager is going to want this player. So, I mean, for people like Rio Ferdinand to be coming out and saying that Manchester United should shut down Rangnick from now on, don't let him do press conferences because of what he's coming out with. The guy's speaking the truth. If we were in that position and we could see what was going on, you come out and say it. You know, just because his mate Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who was in charge for 3 years, would have never said anything to upset the apple cart against the Glazers or the regime that was going on. Now you've got Rangnick, who I still hope will move upstairs. You know, there's still a chance that United might look at this and shut him down. From a PR perspective, they're probably looking and thinking, oh, he's kind of dragging our name through the mud. Good. I'm glad. I am so glad that he's actually coming out and saying what is going on at Manchester United. And I hope that sort of leans in or steers into the Ten Hag territory then of when he takes over, because we need a strong manager. We need somebody to say it exactly how it is at Manchester United. No more hiding, no more this crap that, yes, Lindelof was always a player we wanted when obviously Van Dijk was mentioned, going for, the second on the list. Too many managers have covered it up. It's time to shy away from that. And as Jordan at the start of the show says, Haaland's just gone to City today, more or less, boxed off. Manchester United back in the day would have been in for a Haaland, but we're not good enough. We're not attractive enough. Why would somebody like that want to come to Manchester United at the minute?
No,
Sad.
exactly that. The top players want to be playing and competing at the top level. And like I said earlier on today, Jordan, it's like that marquee signing. A marquee signing only works if he's going to a club which is in a position and a team that's in a position that's already working within a system. You can't bring the world's best player into a team that's so disjointed. And that brings us on to, like you said before, Ten Hag bringing in his own players. I mean, Darwin Núñez's advisors believed that the style of the English football would suit Núñez down to the ground. But that's not necessarily what we're looking for. This is English football. We're looking for Ten Hag style football. This is where it's key that the right people upstairs get the right players in place for Ten Hag. Because, yeah, as good as Núñez looks and will actually bring qualities to us that we've not already got, it counts for nothing if Ten Hag's not interested. And that's what we're going to see, because this has been, and like Beth said then, as soon as the season finishes in the Eredivisie, we're going to find out exactly what Ten Hag is wanting. Then we're going to know if this is all just made up stuff again, because if he's got players in mind, we're going to know about them very soon. So it's key that, obviously, when the season finishes, he gets into Ralph. He knows what he needs. He'll have certain ideas already, but we could be just looking up stories here like they're just nowhere near what we're looking for and what Ten Hag is looking for. It has to be the right man.
Yeah. This is almost like a blank canvas, isn't it? At the end of the season, with the amount of players that are leaving. So yeah, he has to be given his own brushes to paint his own picture for this squad. And I think we're going to have to fish in a number of different ponds. We're talking about the free agency market, maybe the loan market, the youth, and then signing. So we're looking at 4 or 5 different ponds to try and pull this squad together to get us into some kind of shape, to get us to the next transfer window. It's going to take 2 or 3 transfer windows for him to really sort of stamp his own authority on this squad and get us to where he wants us to be. But you're right, he's going to need the freedom to be able to do it. This talk of 100 million, 150 million, it isn't enough. Like, we've got to find ways to top it up and find other players. And yeah, he's got to be given the freedom. I think the good thing is the noises that are being made about us looking and speaking to backroom staff seem to be the right noises, which is good. And the fact that he is going to start the job early, I think that is so crucial. Every single day will count over this summer. Every single day, he's going to need to be working double time, overtime to get us to be in a position where we can, start to repair the damage that have been done this season. So yeah, all the right noises are being made. I watched the interview earlier with Beth and Rob. I thought there were some really good bits that come up, and it definitely sounds like behind the scenes they are working overtime to try and give our new manager the best platform for him to succeed. Yeah,
and that platform, Beth, would be a nice director of football and experienced one. Romano's talking like United are definitely still very interested in Paul Mitchell as a sporting director of football. That would be the help that Jordan was saying is desperately needed for someone like Ten Hag coming into a whole new ball game in what this Manchester United setup is right now. That is one hell of a step if that came off.
Exactly. Honestly, it would be massive if we went and did that, and I think it would show the actual ambition that we are trying to get back up there. Because if you're Manchester United board and staff right now, and you've seen that City Haaland deal, I mean, it'd be foolish for Manchester United to think they were even in the running in the position that we're in right now. Like, he would never ever come to us, and that's what he was saying in the interview as well. Like De Jong, if he leaves Barca, he's going to City. He's never going to United. Players don't want to come to us because of how poor we are, and because of the structure at the club, because of how bad we are in the transfer window, because of the lack of ambition. So getting a Paul Mitchell would show some ambition to players that are coming on board to the project, but also it would just show ambition as a club that we actually do want to start scouting players properly and getting the best possible talent in to rebuild this football club and start the new project. I mean, he's experienced. He's proved that he is very, very good in the role. And I think he's someone that would work very well with Ten Hag. So I really hope this does happen. I mean, we've seen all the rumours, we've seen the photos, we've seen everything like that. I do think it's something that if United want it to happen, it will happen. So I'm just hoping that does get sorted sooner rather than later, because we could need his expertise ASAP, in my opinion, because like we said, with the £150 million budget that seems to be flying about, which was confirmed today, that is the kind of money that Ten Hag's going to get. We're going to need someone who can scout players desperately, because that 150 million is nothing in today's market with all the players that we need to go and invest some money, positions we need to go and invest some money into. So I'm really hoping that deal happens soon.
Yes, anyone who is worried about that budget, just watch my video from earlier on. I'll put you all at ease as exactly how United should approach that. It is quality. I look back on it myself and I went, how did you manage that, Adam? Well, a few years of playing Championship Manager when I was a kid, I'll tell you exactly how I managed that. But it's realistic. Yeah. If United got their fingers out, then we could easily make this summer work for us, because we've got players there that don't need to be there. Kev, that budget, 100 million, 150 million. We have a lot of players coming back from loan. We have a lot of players, really, who have been forgotten about. It's still possible to build a team for Ten Hag, even on that sort of budget, simply because, like we just said then, them big fish and them big price fish players are just not going to be interested in Manchester United right now. So there's no need to even think about, oh, that's going to take that. We're talking about the Nunes, 70 million. Okay, let's find something else. So Haaland, yeah, forget that. Not even there. Like Jordan said, we need to be looking in that smaller pond. We're not fishing out there with the big boys anymore. We need to start building again. And I'm not particularly bothered about the budget. It's been said that there is no budget. It's 100 million this morning, 150 million this afternoon. It's silly season, as we know, but all United have to do, really, is put the people in position that need to be and get to work on making deals, because there's free agents out there, like Jordan said, and like I covered this morning, that are definitely going to improve our team. And it's definitely doable, mate, isn't it?
Yeah. What we don't want to do, you want to learn from your past mistakes. We made past mistakes with the likes of Di Maria, who we all know deep down didn't want to come to us. Only
free agent at 33 this summer, Kev. Do you want him?
Have a couple of them. What he did at Old Trafford that time. Not a chance. Not a chance. He can stay on his free transfer, the fraud. There's definitely... You've said it right there, that there's players we can go after. Now, when we talk about restructuring the club, the scouting network, you look at a club maybe like a Leicester or a Southampton over maybe the past 10 years or so, some of the players that they've managed to bring into their clubs in comparison to Manchester United. I think Leicester's a prime example of bringing in, N'Golo Kante. Who else was after him at that time? A Mahrez, even at the moment now, a Tielemans. It is achievable and it can be done. It's just fans, certain modern day fans have to be a bit more patient, because we see the big names, the likes of a Haaland going today, but we all know we're in this position. We're kind of staying in our lane. We know we cannot attract that type of player, but at the same time, there are other options out there. We're trying to rebuild at Manchester United, and it comes down to a scouting network from top to bottom. Paul Mitchell, yes, thumbs up, mate. But at the same time, I'd have Phil Mitchell from EastEnders. He could come in there and give them a rocket up their arse. A lot of them, for all I care. It just needs a total restructure. It certainly does. And sorry, Jordan. I'm on the tee tonight as well. I'm on bang on form, man. Yeah, stay off the red line in future.
He's got to do some work tomorrow.
Yeah. But there's bargains. We spoke about Christian Eriksen. Just one name off the top of the head. Bazuma at the weekend, absolutely class. I know every midfield class against Manchester United, but
he's teeing him up. You know
my views.
I looked at
even
this.
if he doesn't sign, I'm going to get you a United top with Bazuma on the back.
Can do. That's it. I mean, just to throw it out there, just to throw it up there to you, Jordan. This morning, I said, look, United could bring in Mukulele at right back, could bring in Phillips, could bring in Kamara, could have Eriksen, could have Donny van der Beek back in the squad. 50 million. You've already got 6 players which are better than what we've got and will improve this team. You've not even touched the budget. All it takes is someone upstairs to do their job properly. Unfortunately, United haven't had anyone in that position to think that way, because it's always been about the marquee and what comes with it. Now, right there, I'm thinking I'd take all of them players right now, and they'd all improve. They'd improve us. Every single one of them players would improve us. There's half a team, mate, and we're nowhere near halfway through that budget. It's doable, Jordan.
It's doable to sign players, but is it doable to sign the players that will play Ten Hag system? And that's the interesting part, because I'm looking at the comments now, and they're divided. People are throwing like Bale and people like that in there, and like, oh, I wouldn't take Bale. I wouldn't take Bale. Okay, I wouldn't necessarily take Bale now, but is Bale an upgrade on Lingard? Is he an upgrade on what Rashford's offering at the moment? There's a number of players you look at and you go, they are upgrades on what we've currently got. I do think we need to get smart. We need a Del Boy upstairs that is going to wheel and deal. And,
do you know what, mate? Just on that, there we've had Phil Mitchell, we've had Del Boy. I mean, we're going through everything here. I mean,
mate,
this is what we've missed at United all these years.
Desperate times. Listen, this is what we got to do. But we need somebody that can go in there, call in favours. You know, like I said, the loan market. Have a look at the loan market, see what we can do. Players that are coming towards the end of their contracts and maybe offer them, a cut price deal. Players with buyout clauses. We need somebody with some know-how up there to work a system. Just to record in the comments, I'm not saying to sign Bale. My point is, there's free agents available that are better than what we've got, but they're not necessarily right. That's my point. So don't start throwing Welsh flags and getting all passionate and whatnot. That's where I'm at. But I remember back in the day, and you guys will remember this. Man United was so big and so powerful. We could go to clubs and say, we're taking your best player, we'll give you some chump change for it, and we'll play you in a friendly at the end of the season. Like that's all we needed to offer players. But it isn't like that anymore. So we've got to get smarter. There's definitely deals out there that can be done. Like I said, we need to fish in 4 or 5 different ponds to try and pull together a bit of a squad.
There's a name come up there from Darren again, Beth. Ward-Prowse would be an upgrade. You've got the likes of what people were saying to me this morning. Yuri Tillemans from Leicester. Preferred choice would be to go to Manchester United. Players there, all upgrades on what we've got right now. Do you feel like that sort of player, from what Ten Hag plays and how his system works, would fit at United? Because I'm looking at Bruno, I'm looking at Van der Beek, players we've already got, and I'm going Tillemans, similar. It has to be savvy with the positions that he's prioritising, really, doesn't it? In terms of that conversation he has, the early training session, get that in place early doors. He's going to know quite quickly what positions and what type of player, not just the name and who's available and what looks good, because that's where we've gone wrong before, like Kev said. It has to be the right type of player, specialist for a certain position.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not even going to entertain Jordan's Bale comment because that was
I didn't say to sign Bale. No, I didn't say to sign Bale. I said there's free agents like Bale out there who's an upgrade on what we've had this season, but they're not necessarily the right one. So we've got to be smart about who we sign, not just any free agent. That was
definitely
my point.
don't want to sign.
Beth, you say it there, Beth. He's like, I went through it this morning. Dembele, Dybala, Bale. Big names, Di Maria, all these players. In the past, United probably would have been all over them, but that has to change now.
Yeah, it has to, because the last thing I want is a golfer coming in who can't really put the effort in the football pitch and is just going to take 400k off the wage bill. And also, how old is he? Like 34, 35. It's not one for the future. You want someone coming in young, fresh, hungry to play football, and someone that we can develop. That's the route we need to be going down. Like, you wouldn't see a City or a Liverpool. I'm not saying you have to do exactly what they've done, but they've been successful by going out and buying players that are hungry to play football and aren't big names that are just going to take up a lot of the wage bill. So, yeah, that comment there, that super chat, Ward-Prowse, I think is 100% an upgrade on what we've got. And I think he's a set piece taking. I mean, a lot of people say the only reason he's rated as high as he is because of his set pieces. I think his set pieces take away the shine from what he actually is like as a footballer. I think he's a very good footballer. I think he is very disciplined in his role, and I think he is an upgrade on what we have at the moment. And I think them set pieces could be crucial, actually, because we've seen so many times this season players go out to take a corner and they can't even beat the first man. And it's like we're struggling so much on corners, on set pieces. I think Ward-Prowse would be a brilliant addition. I just don't know how much he would cost. Yuri Tillemans, I think he's a great player. I think he's a baller, but has he got the work ethic to play under Ten Hag? I know I was looking at his stats a little bit ago, and I think his running stats aren't the best in that Leicester team, but I think if he's willing to come in and work hard, he, again, is an upgrade talent-wise on what we have. So there is players out there that you can go and get. On the Phillips situation at Leeds, if you went down, I think it's 25 mil release clause.
Yep.
I think a lot of the top 4, top 6 clubs are going to be all over that, and I don't think he'd choose us having the choice. So I don't think that is something that we can really get excited about. But like you said, we've just got to think smart, and we've got to cut corners when it comes to price in certain areas. But that doesn't mean you have to cut corners on the talent and the player you get in. There is players out there, like Kev was saying, the scouts at Leicester have done a brilliant job. That's what we need to be doing, and getting a couple of players on a free transfer, upgrading the squad as a whole. But also, what we don't want to be doing is just going for players because they're cheap and them not actually being good enough. We need to weigh up all the different options, and this is why
that's what scouts are for, isn't it, Beth?
That's why we need a good scouting network. People keep asking me, Beth, what would you spend 150 million on? I'm like, well, I don't have all the answers. I'm not a scout. I mean, that's what the scouts are there for. So, that's what we need.
Exactly that, Kev. I mean, the MEN are saying United are targeting a defensive midfielder, at least one forward, a centre-back, and will consider an upgrade on both full-backs. Interim manager Ralph Rangnick has recommended 2 attacking signings, and a backup goalkeeper could also be required if there is an outgoing in that department. I'm like, get off this goalkeeper. How many goalkeepers do you need at a football club? But the other positions, I'm talking about that defensive midfielder, mate. And I looked at Kamara this morning. I talked about Kamara on the show, and I was like, he doesn't do anything else but that job. Specialist in one trade. We don't need a jack of all trades, master of none, mate. We're sick of these versatile crap.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Buy a player for that position. And that's what I meant with Ten Hag. We'll be looking at the exact position that works for that system. It's no good trying to utilize someone. We've seen that over the last 10 years. It does not work. We've got a midfield full of it, mate. And to be honest, I look at it and go, right, okay, Kamara, has he got it? Played in the Europa League. He's got European experience. He's at the right age. That's the sort of player. And obviously we know, like Beth said, then we're not the scouts. We're looking at the types of players, and that's what we're discussing. That's what you would hope Ten Hag is going to bring with his team. But we haven't actually got, that I know of, a scouting system in place right now since the top 2 scouts have left. So I'm looking at who is actually buying or looking at these players right now. It's interesting because we're in the dark a little bit. And like I said, when that Eredivisie finishes, I think a lot of light will be shed on a lot of situations.
Yeah. I think that it's going to be purely down to Ten Hag. I think they'll be looking and going, right, well, you let us know who you want. It shouldn't be all down to him, really. But maybe after one season, once the structure's in there, then they can start bringing a list to Ten Hag and saying, check this lad out. The thing is, and we've spoke about it before as well, we have no system or style of play. And we always harp back to finding a bargain. You've got a club that can go out and handpick Robertson, a player that at the time I was like, they bought him for, and prove me wrong, prove Kev well wrong. But that's fitting a player into the system. He's a great player, but nobody else was on that one at the time. Were they thinking, what was he, 8 million? 8 million, that's what's that in today's market? Phil Jones probably picks that up over a few months or something at Manchester United, which is crazy. But I think until we get the actual system and a style of play, that's when you can start adding them players in at Manchester United and trying to find them players. And that wasn't me. I can see all the comments.
It wasn't me.
It was not me, I swear to God.
No, I don't know what people are talking about. Yeah, let's let it go, guys. Cut out the laughing emojis, for God's sake. You know what you like when you start winding up, Kev, especially. You can't stop him. And please, whatever you do, don't get Beth laughing because she will not stop. Okay. Moving on. Jordan, I was talking this morning about utilising squad players that we've got right now and players that are surplus. I mean, we're talking about not having much of a budget, but we've got players that can be used. It's reported that, I was mentioning Aaron Wan-Bissaka this morning. Atletico are looking to take him on a 1-year loan deal, reportedly, with an option to buy. I mean, I prefer just selling him for a cut down price and getting rid of him to Crystal Palace if we could. I think that's ideal because I think we could use that little bit of money and buy in the likes of a Kamara or look at it towards funding wages, because we're going to save a lot of money on wages as well after this summer.
Yeah, no, definitely. And by the way, it definitely wasn't me who farted. The whole room would have got dark. So it wasn't me. But we've got to be careful with the loan market, I think, because you look at what's happened with Martial. Martial held a decent level of value before we set him up on loan, and now we'll struggle to get anything credible for him now because he's gone there and he stunk the place out, booed by their fans. What is going on here?
I think it was when you said you stunk the place.
I knew it was you, Jordan.
Grow up.
God's sake, people. Right, I'm only bringing him up because of super chats, for crying out loud. Let it go.
Right, anyway, back to it. You've got to be careful with the loan market. I just think, if we can get some money, we have to take it, and we can put it down to another loss from under Ollie.
Yeah, well, Jordan, you nailed it there, mate. It is loan, not just a loan market in terms of outgoings. Are United capable of actually thinking outside the box, Beth, and going, Ryan, please don't.
I'm not looking at the comments.
Yeah. Are United actually capable of actually using the loan system to bring players in as well, Beth? Do you know what I mean? Because you can structure a deal in the loan setup as well.
I mean, I don't think it's something we want to be doing, getting players in on loan, in my personal opinion. Right, stop. And as well, I'm sick of loaning players out with an option to buy. It feels like Pierre has been on loan for about 5,000 years.
Oh, good God. Don't even get me started on that, man.
No one's still buying him. It was like Dalot went on loan with AC Milan and last year. That was actually quite successful, to be honest, because he did get some game time and he ended up coming back and he's in. Obviously, I think we need an upgrade on the fullbacks, but he's been better than Wan-Bissaka in my opinion this season, and we've needed him time. So I think sometimes loans can work out, and I feel like Dalot was half successful. You wouldn't say it was massively successful, but you look at ones like Martial's. If anything, I think it's decreased his value in going to Sevilla. And then you look at Donny van der Beek, and I think it's done the same thing. He's not had a successful loan at all. So loans aren't really what I want to be doing going forward. And if I was to get rid of Wan-Bissaka, it would be just completely sell him. And because if he ends up on loan, it's just loan after loan after loan. And you don't end up getting the money back.
Yeah. And sorry, one other thing with that, every year we send someone out on loan is a year further into their contract and a year closer to them walking out for free. It's such a dangerous game.
Jesse Lingard, point in case, mate. Exactly that. Yeah. Exactly that. That's where Mr. Mitchell comes in, is it not, Kev? Because they work, directors of football actually work on sell-on clauses that you can get with players. When they actually negotiate a contract, they can put all that in place. It just seems that all United do is that you get your 4-year deal with that lovely option to extend at the end of it. So I mean, it's like we need someone up there who can actually structure these deals better for us. That's where that type of man comes in. And Paul Mitchell is the right man for Manchester United, in my opinion. All the experience in the world, all the contacts that we need, and definitely, like we said before, the man to help Ten Hag in this, what I would say is a nightmare first summer, mate.
I've never quite understood them deals that Manchester United do, because they'll name that they announce they've signed somebody, like you say, it's on a 4-year contract with an option to extend it by 1 year. That's all you ever hear, don't you? There's never anything else in
United safety net, mate. United safety net, isn't it?
That's exactly what it is. And well, they did it with Pogba, didn't they? That's not worked out well, has it? They extended it by a year. Yeah, so he's going to wait now till the summer. And Paul Pogba will be leaving Manchester United after spending, 90 million on him. So from the club's point of view, and this is where they're panicking, we laugh at the way that this club is run. It's absolutely shocking because they're going to lose a player twice. You know, I've never seen that in my lifetime before. Anyway, what are you looking at now? Come on, share the joke, man.
James English, fantastic. The chat is undefeated. It's undefeated. Like,
seriously, it's a good job we got a sense of humour on this channel as well.
Someone just said in the comments that Kev's had too much Sprite.
Oh, we should just read them out. I think I've seen Eric Ten Fart before as well, which cracked me up, but I don't know.
Come on, guy. Come on. It's taking me back to that Christmas show when we had Joe on in a reindeer. Reindeer.
That was brilliant.
It's good to laugh. Don't take it too serious.
Totally lost.
I'm blaming Draughty. It was Draughty with the ghost fart over the line.
Yeah, that's it. Ronald Jacob Super Chat says, can even Jesus make Maguire play? Well, answer is no. So Ten Hag can't do it either. Still don't know why we signed Bailly again. It's a good point. Eric Bailly is going to be one of them that you could maybe ask questions about. Can we actually utilise in a window? Not so much on the pitch because it doesn't look like anyone wants to play him, but can we utilise him in a transfer market, Jordan? Can we scrape 10, 15 million pounds for Eric Bailly this summer? Add that to the budget.
But Bailly's well respected out in Europe. There's been decent teams that are still linked to him. So yeah, I think we'll get money for him. We'll get 10, 15 million from him easy all day.
I think Mourinho will jump at him. Yeah,
he'll go out there and he'll do a great job out there. He'll be the enforcer for as long as he's fit. He'll be great out there. There is money in the squad, guys. We've just got to be willing to do the deals and accept it. And this is the issue, under Ollie, players that we should have moved on were offered new contracts and promised game time, and it hasn't happened. And that's what's led to the rot of players being unhappy and not grabbing hold of Rangnick's philosophy because they were promised things that weren't delivered.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the MEN are talking. Samuel Luckhurst who was saying, Beth, that the fact that United are losing a lot of players on big wages this summer is a good reason why they're confident of actually getting certain players in, a certain amount of players in. That wage bill is astronomical, but when you add together just the players that we know are definitely leaving, it equates to an enormous amount of money. And you could easily structure deals with what savings you're making now. I mean, nearly £1 million a week. So within a month, you could get 5 million, which could go easily to purchasing a player or a structure of a pay deal. So again, it comes down to who's in charge, Beth, which we still don't know, which is the ultimate answer to all of this.
Yeah, like when you look at all the players leaving, they're all on big wages. Pogba, Cavani, Lingard, all the players that are going, you are going to get a lot back in wages for them. When it comes to actually selling players, I'm not going to lie, we will get some money, but we will get nowhere near the amount that we put into these players. But at the time,
take a loss.
Sometimes you've just got to look at it and you've got to think, you've got to cut your losses and just get what you can. And I think we should be looking to sell Eric Bailly 10, 15 million potentially for him. Phil Jones, take him for, I mean, he's probably put a little bit of value on his transfer this season, but I'd probably say a couple million, if that. I would let him go on a free personally just to get his wage off the wage bill. And then you've got Wan-Bissaka, who you could just sell him for cheap. But I think you could get 20, 25 million for Wan-Bissaka, definitely. And we paid 50 million for him. So yeah, you're losing money, but it's just not going to work out. Sometimes you look at players, and if Ten Hag doesn't want to use him, you might as well just get the money for them now. And
you can go really think Wan-Bissaka.
You think I think we could get 25 mil for him.
I think his age is a big thing into it now. It's like I believe it's like 50 million. I said it this morning, could be scraped together 20 million, which would literally pay for another player for us in the pond that we're fishing in.
I also think for a team that wants to play more defensive football, I think he would really be a good player for them. Like, there is a very decent player in there when it comes to defensive duties, and I think for a team that wants to play the more defensive football, not really in possession of the ball, a little bit more counter-attack style, I think he could be a decent player for them.
I tell you what, he sounds like a Simeone player, doesn't he?
I think he'd be decent. I think he'd be so good at Atletico. I also think Crystal Palace, to be fair, Vieira's actually making them a lot more of an attacking force as of late, so I'm not sure, but I definitely think at Atletico he could do a very good job.
Maybe if he was,
Yeah.
if he was willing to go out of the country, I think you look at what Ashley Young did at his age of career and went out to Italy. He could go out to Italy and do well. So maybe, Mourinho, look at him. I just want Mourinho to take all our dead wood.
Everyone.
Just take
Ashley
them all.
Young's way better than Wan-Bissaka. Well, was.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, let's not forget these, and it's come down, a few people have pointed it out in the comment section. This comes down to a training ground structure as well, because let's not forget, Harry Maguire and Wan-Bissaka were not bad players when they first arrived at the club. I remember people raving about Wan-Bissaka, actually having a defender who can tackle. I mean, how many times did we laugh and see the emoji, not the emoji, the meme of the likes of Sterling in Wan-Bissaka's pocket constantly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There were good players there. It's the fall off which is concerning, and everyone in the comments who brought it up is right to bring it up, Kev, because it comes down to the regression of players that were bought to the club for a reason, and for some reason we've tried to change what that player was when he came to the football club. And we've done that with quite a few players now. I can't remember how many positions Martial's had. I'm looking at Sancho already in different positions. We bought these players because they were playing well in a certain style and a certain position at the other club. And we tried to change it to suit. Why can't we find that player that suits that position, keep him in that position, and you're going to get the best out of him? If you play a player in his favourite position and you sort of progress him and you train and you put everything into that on the training ground, he's going to get better. I just feel like we've chopped and changed that much and changed everything. We've changed styles every time a manager comes in, it would seem, from Mourinho to Wally to Ralph. Straight away, mate, it's all changed. And sometimes I'm not backing the players here, but consistently changing styles and systems is not going to help these players. And I just believe that it all comes down to what happens on the training ground. Is there anyone that we've talked about for you, Kev, that you think can be salvaged? I mean, Wan-Bissaka wasn't bad. Maguire wasn't bad. But, I mean, we've sort of given up just because of how bad the football has been on these players. Is there any hope for anyone?
I don't want to stick up for any of these players because I've had it with a lot of them, but I'm not even going to say in their defence. I'll just make this comment that I don't think for a long time Manchester United have had a style of play. So if you're going to say one thing, it's all right saying you throw them in and you just kind of play your game, which is kind of what we did have for about 3 years under Solskjaer. And as you rightly say, then players that have come in, none of them have kicked on. None of them have improved. You don't look at any of them and go, God, year after year, he's got better, he's got quicker, he's defensively got better, attacking-wise, his stats have improved, he's scoring more goals. None of them, really. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes had fantastic couple of seasons at the start, and the drop-off now, is that to do with the fact that Manchester United don't have a style of play? Is it because the mentality? I really struggled to put my finger on it. I'm just really clinging on to the fact that Ten Hag is coming in and hopefully we're going to get that. But at the same time, there'll be a lot of players that will get found out because once we get the style of play and this manager, Ten Hag, is asking them to play it, if they can't carry out the instruction, they're going to have to go because it's clearly they're not cut out to be able to carry out the instruction. I mean, we talked there about Wan-Bissaka, potentially Manchester United could get 25 million. You know, when you look at the big one, Harry Maguire, you think, well, if you're talking about getting 25 million for Wan-Bissaka, who's younger, you know, how much would you get for Harry Maguire if Ten Hag does decide, listen, I'm changing the captain and I'm going to get a new partner in for Varane, you know, at centre-back, and we're going to really change it up. But Luke Shaw, I think, is a player that could well play his way back into contention in that team. I think he's definitely got it in him to be able to get into a Ten Hag team. System player. And then the midfield, I think we know needs ripping up big time. I think Fred could be part of the squad, but I still think we need two new players in there. And as you rightly said, Adam, you need one player to play that position. I think we've gone too long of trying to fit these two holding midfielders in, whereas clubs that have a Kante or a Fernandinho, somebody like this who's specialist in that job, you've got an extra player on the pitch then, attacking-wise and attacking threat. If you've got one player that can do that job, sitting in front of a back two or whatever it is, then it just makes it so much different. Change the dynamics of the team completely instead of this pissing around every week with Fred and McTominay, you know. Done with that, man. Done with it.
That's it. That's it. Someone's liking Beth.
Beth's getting a lot of love in the chat, isn't she?
Hi, guys.
Yes. There you go. You got your wave. But, I mean, guys, don't forget to like the video as well. It's been one of them live shows tonight where we've had a lot going on, and
it's been a lot of hot air, hasn't it?
Enjoyed yourselves in here, so there's no negative outlook on this show tonight. It's been a long day, and you know what? We've all had a good show, and just give the video a like, hey? While you're at it, it's worth it anyway. I've seen more laughing emojis in this chat than we have them in San Ronaldo, for God's sake. So shows where your heads are at, doesn't it, people? Anyway, each to their own, each to their own. But Jordan, looking ahead, obviously, tomorrow night, Kev touched on it before. One thing that Ten Hag will be doing is having a little eye on this FA Youth Cup final. I have done a preview video, which will be out tomorrow, guys, as well. And that, do tune into that when that drops tomorrow. And we will all be outside Old Trafford, like I said earlier on, if anyone is going and wants to come and say hello. But it's a good opportunity tomorrow night, Jordan, for these players under the floodlights, Old Trafford, full house for a Youth Cup final. First time and biggest record attendance that there's been for this competition. It's time to showcase your talents and actually go out there. And I think the fans are looking forward to this probably more than the actual players, mate. We need this sort of thing at the football club. And just shows that there is a little glimmer of hope in the system at Manchester United. But unfortunately, further down the ladder right now.
Yeah. No, 100%. The fans are massively jumping on the positivity of seeing players who want to actually play for the badge and hopefully the next gen to come through. I'm gutted I'm actually out the country, because if I was in, I definitely would have gone up for that. And what an amazing effort to sell that many tickets. You know, there's clubs very close to home that can't sell that kind of numbers for Champions League games. So great effort, and big up you guys for going up there and getting outside and representing our channel. You want the players to play with freedom and express themselves and remember all the reasons why they wear the badge and want to wear the badge. You look at the passion that Elanga has played with this season, and you know what it means to him, and some of the assists he's got, and the way he celebrated those assists as though they're goals, and you know the way he was talking about celebrating with Ronaldo and looking up to his idol and all those things. They're all the reasons why we love this club. And the next star could be born tomorrow night.
Exactly that. I mean, I was talking earlier on, Beth, just a little sneak preview spoiler, but in one season, Alejandro Garnacho has made his debut for the first team, trained alongside the two best players that have ever walked the planet at the age of 17 in Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. That's one hell of a season, isn't it, for a young lad?
Yeah, it's absolutely massive. How old is he as well? 17?
17.
I
wow.
Think, like you were saying, last time we got to the final at FA Youth Cup, there was players like Pogba, Lingard in the team that broke into the United's first team and, I was going to say gone on to have good careers, but no, but I think when you look at the youth team that I've got now, it's probably one of the most talented that we've had in a very long time. So I definitely think we could be looking back in a couple of years' time thinking, wow, like remember when we watched that FA Cup U final, you saw then that there was players, that player was there then and they had the talent then, and they've come on to be a very good player. So I'm hoping that we see a good game of football tomorrow. I'm sure we will. And potentially watching one of the stars of the future for Manchester United. So it'll be good to actually watch the full game in person and see what these players are about. But they've impressed all season. And I think a lot of them are going to go on to have good careers, whether that be United or in other clubs. But it'll be good to see the stars, like you said, Garnacho. There's been so much hype over him this season. People like that Fernandez at left back, again, is another player that I think there's a lot of potential there. So it'll be great to see them players up close and see what they can do.
That's it. Kev, you're going tomorrow night, taking family along with you tomorrow?
Taking my son, Georgie, he's going to be coming along with me. So come and see the next generation. I've sold it him. To be honest, he loves going to Old Trafford anyway, so I didn't really have to say much to him. He was like, yeah, sound. As long as he can get his hot dog at half time, he's happy. I'll have my beer, he can have his hot dog. So
that's it. Next generation of fan vlogger as well, possibly, Kev. There you go. Oh. That's it.
Shout for him.
That's it. And guys, that's pretty much the show wrapped up. It's been an interesting one, to say the least. It's been entertaining from start to finish. We've covered a lot of facts. We've made everyone laugh. But tomorrow night, like we said, it's a full packed day of videos tomorrow. Mark is doing a watch along, and just so you guys know, Mark isn't leaving the United stand, so wind your neck in again. We'll keep telling you, you know what I mean? But yeah, watch along, preview video, fan vlogs, everything is there for you tomorrow. It's a busy day celebrating, like what Jordan, Beth, and Kev just said, the next crop of talent coming through the United Youth Academy, and hopefully they have a great night tomorrow and they bring the trophy home. It will be brilliant to watch, and I say it's the most excited I've been for a game all season. So yeah, kind of tells you everything you need to know. Well, guys, cheers for tuning in. It's been a brilliant show. Jordan, thanks for coming on, mate.
Amazing. Tuesday night, still confused, still think it's Thursday. Beth, do you want to come clean about farting now before the end of the show?
I mean, it wasn't me, but seeing as you're trying to shift the blame onto me, I think we know who it was.
Yes. That's it. That is it. Beth, cheers for coming on as always.
Yeah, great to be on. We'll be seeing everyone at Old Trafford tomorrow. Me, Kev, and Adam, and Jordan. Enjoy Marbella, and thank you for everyone for making the chat what it is. I mean, it's very funny, and I've had a very good night despite the weirdness to it.
Yes, Kev, mate, that was a chat made for you tonight, mate, wasn't it?
Oh, I've been on some shows in my time, I tell you, but that is definitely going to be right there at the top now. It's, oh God, honestly. And I would just like to say, actually, it was not me.
Yeah, I don't even know where it came. Something happened, but yeah, it was clear it wasn't any of us. So move on. Guys, we couldn't have done the show without you. Brilliant in the comments as always. All the super chats as usual. We will see you tomorrow. Busy, full day of action planned. Like I said, do tune into the United Stand. We've got all avenues covered for Man United. We will see you then, guys. Like, share, and subscribe as always.